has it been since the last lesson?
I think it's I think a lot of things for me are kind of coming together.
That's good. Do you have any like?
There are things that kind of go across all the matchups, like up air rest, and the only thing I've been struggling with though is like getting up tilts, because I feel like that's like one of Puff's like best like rest conversions across the board, but I feel like it's hard to land it.
Are you like messing up the input at all? Because I've had that happen too. Just making sure that before I go into like how to get them.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think the input's the problem. I just think it's like very laggy, and I feel like using it in the wrong spot is really easy, at least for myself.
Yeah.
Try to up tilt and then do it in a really bad spot and get punched.
Yeah, it's pretty funny you bring up tilt because you actually die like so much in this game to just going for up tilts over and over again. But in general, how you get up tilts is like it's kind of similar to using up air, but like it's basically the same as using up air, but you're on the ground. So in spots that you use up air, you use up tilt, and the difference between the two is that usually up tilt is better against characters that you like to be like on top of their shield or like being very close to them when they're in shield, like Marth, Falcon, Sheik. Whereas like it would be better to use up air against a character like Fox or Falco, because you don't really like to be that close to their shield and risk getting like shine out of shield or like wave dash out of shield grab or up smash by Fox. So like it's definitely character dependent first when to use up tilt. Sometimes you use up tilt to also catch dash in as well too. Like let's say a Fox is like dashing at you and you're facing backwards is the important part. If you're facing forwards and a Fox is dashing at you and you have a hard read that he's going to dash in, then you should just grab him. If anything, you shouldn't really be turning around and then going for up tilt. But because let's say you're throwing out like back airs or something and then you like land on the ground and then you're like, oh, okay, Fox is going to try and Whiffpunish my back air with a run up grab because I might kill percent or something like that. You can like potentially throw it up tilt in that spot to cover dash in is another spot. There's like the two biggest ones basically, like on shield characters that don't like being in shield versus buff and want to jump out, but at the same time you don't really risk that much by going for up tilt versus them because they don't have like a shine eye shield. So there's like the two biggest ways. Oh, you still there?
Yeah, do you want to get into the VOD?
Yeah. I was making sure you're still there. Okay, so what's your thoughts on the Falcon matchup?
Right. I mean, honestly, right now it just kind of feels like Fox, but like a little bit weirder in like the punish.
So
I'm not very sure about the neutral against Falcon, but I just know that it's like kind of similar to Fox in the punish game, but like it's a lot tighter in terms of like the follow-ups.
I probably wouldn't really describe it closer to Fox. It's more like it's probably closer to like the other character I was talking about, like Mars, Sheik, and stuff like that. In terms of that, the neutral has like two big parts. It's more about like the offense side and the defense side. Whereas like Fox, there's like a whole game plan, moving parts. But Falcon, you can kind of avoid that, where your up air is just really good in this matchup. I was talking about up tilt being really good, but in terms of like actually using a move in neutral, up air is really good because basically whenever Falcon is in shield, you can just cross up his shield with either an up air into a crouch, and he basically can't do anything. Is the problem with Falcon as a character, because he doesn't have shine out of shield, which I was talking about a second ago. So he can't just shine out of shield if you hit him on his shield, like if you cross him up or you go in front of his shield, for instance. So basically landing on top of Falcon and trying to stuff out his move choices is basically like the best way to play this matchup, like offensively. But like that situation, sometimes it won't come up because let's say Falcon is like dash dancing or something like that, or being very patient with you, or he's going for like really just like hard commit, like run across the stage and knees and stuff like that. And that's obviously he's not scared of you, I guess, is what basically what happens there. Or he's going for like really hard commits. So when that happens, then there's the defensive side of the matchup where basically Puff is really good. Puff is really good in the sense that she can just crouch and just like sit there and crouch and just wait for Falcon to jump. And you can shield Falcon's jump and basically just not get hit by anything. the only like risks that happen when you do crouch and then wait for Falcon to jump at you and shield is that you can potentially get shield poken. You could get pressured on shield. Like, let's say they do like, you're right here, they're jumping at you, you crouch, they go for a knee on shield, and either you don't get a power shield or it's like safe based on the timing wise. Then they can potentially do a gentleman on shield, and if you choose the wrong option after getting hit on shield by the knee, then you could potentially get gentleman, maybe get grabbed out of it. Like, that's like the worst case scenario that basically should happen whenever you're in crouch and then whenever you put yourself in shield. So like, shield and crouch are just both broken versus Falcon because Falcon can't grab your crouch as well too. So people always talk about like the mix of tree between shield, grab, and crouch with Puff, but it doesn't really work in this matchup because Falcon's main tool to beat the crouch is Stomp, but you can actually just shield the Stomp on reaction to the noise and also the movement. It's a lot harder on net play because of the sounds being different, but especially on LAN, if you play with game music, then you should be able to react to this and just get perfect power shields. As well, it's also a lot easier to get power shields if you have like a power shield trigger. What I mean by that is like just having like a trigger plug or something similar to that. I do, and it's just very nice specifically for this matchup. But yeah, that's like kind of like general stuff, but I can go into the actual game plan. I think I talked about this last time, but I don't really like this opener. It was really awkward. I think even shield drops. Yeah, you shield drop, double jump, turn around backer, which like I don't know. Like, do you know why you did this?
Honestly, I don't know. It's like, yeah, I don't really know what to do as an opener as Puff.
Yeah. Basically, it's like, well, there's two basically big things. It's either you want to control center or you want to try and hit your opponent, and this doesn't really like do either of those two. It's very passive. I don't think like passivity is really good with Puff because she doesn't have lasers. If she had like a laser or something, this would be like fine. She could be like doing shield drop, double jump, turnaround, then just turn around firing lasers if the character's on the side platform. That might be good. But because she doesn't have a laser, then it's like doing this type of passive over isn't good because it doesn't really cover anything. If you think that your opponent is going to do this crazy, like, this is a ridiculous opener by Captain Falcon. This made no sense because let's say you're doing the opener, one of the two openers I was talking about. Let's say you predicted that Falcon was going to run off the side platform and trying to up air into center stage. Let's say you think that's going to happen. You jump off the platform, double jump back air, and just hit Falcon before he comes off the side platform. And that would beat that approach. And let's say you did that and he still does this, then you do that, you're right here by the time he's like stomping onto the platform, and you could literally just not do the double jump back air and then just do a double jump back air to punish the stomp after he does it. So like this opener by Falcon makes 0 sense and only beats like literally like the passive type of gameplay. So like, and basically you want as Puff always to try and get your opponent off stage or basically in a situation where you can get a favorable mix-up into a rest. Let's say like putting them into the corner and they have to jump out of the corner, they have to dash, they have to shield, they have to roll. All those options can be hard read and potentially you get a rest out of them, like, you know, reading the jump with up air into a rest, reading the roll with rest, reading the dash out of the corner with grab, stuff like that. So it's like when you play passive that you can't get those mix-ups like ever. So starting off the game with passive just doesn't really make sense. We get stomped. Once you get hit by stomp in this matchup, I prefer, I think lately, to not tech roll that much, and I'd rather just tech in place or yeah, mainly just tech in place, because I think that most Falcons have a big problem covering tech in place if they don't grab it, and especially with Puff, they are kind of scared to grab your tech rolls in this spot unless it's like they have a lot of time like this was. If you just tech rolled instantly and tech rolled right instead of missing a tech, maybe this would have worked out, but I definitely like tech in place a lot versus Falcon. This was insane. Yeah, I don't think this like should ever really happen. So yeah, you missed a couple DI here, but big thing is whenever you know you're gonna get grabbed, I would be pre-mashing. I think he could have actually gotten out of this grab with a pre-mash because he pummeled twice. He pummeled at least once. Yeah, he pummeled once. I don't think that was guaranteed at this percent. Even if it wasn't guaranteed, at least making it harder for your opponent is very nice. Because if they know that you're not going to mash out of their grabs, then like they're just going to go for pummels at percents that don't work. So I definitely recommend pre-mashing when you know you're going to get grabbed, and then also be mashing in general too. So in terms of DIing down throw knee, you can't really get out of it at all because they can react. So the big thing in terms of the DI is you want to mix it up well. So you either want to do this DI like you did, or do a DI in, like probably like 50% of the time. So it makes it harder for the Falcon to cover it. Unless you know that the Falcon is really bad at covering this DI or something like that. This DI I think is usually harder for most Falcons to cover, and they're usually better at covering the DI in. But basically, like, making them have it to react to the DI is really good. So it's not like this is the first instance you got grabbed, so it's not like your fault or anything here. And they were just good. There was made no sense to really DI in on the first knee because you weren't gonna die. Like if you DI'd out, you know, like just held away and just got hit off stage really far, it's fine because you're not gonna die at 20, like 30% to a bad DI in knee, which is what it would be. But but because you DI'd in, you let him get a double knee, and then you actually DI'd out on the second knee, which didn't make sense. So either you want to DI out on the first knee that he goes for at really low percents, or you want to DI in on the second knee he goes for, so then he can't get he can't kill you essentially. There's no way he could get a third option because he already jumped into the air. He doesn't have like another.
Yeah, I don't think I knew that the second knee was gonna kill. And then the first knee, I thought, I don't know, maybe I just missed it. But yeah, that kind of like screwed up my DI the whole time.
Yeah, it's like, especially in a situation that's guaranteed, you kind of should always be like holding the direction preemptively, because it's not like they're gonna do anything different there. Like, let's say like there was really nothing like a DI like a DI out would have like been bad for. Like maybe if he DI'd out on the first knee, he could have gotten like he did upper instead of knee and got like maybe upper to like regrab. I don't know, that might be a combo that could ever happen in the game, but realistically it's like you have to like know on these types of like guarantee confirms to be like, oh okay, they're going to hit their confirm, and if they don't, it's like whatever. Just pick the DI that basically just never will let you die in turn, not like DI like this, like die like this, but like DI like die in terms of like they can't get like 3 hits after. If they can get 3 hits after, and when you're holding in or something like that at kill percent, and you know they're gonna do it, then I guess it's like it's better to do like this DI DI out. But basically, yeah, this stock kind of just like never should really happen, realistically. Okay, this is really good gameplay in terms of like using back air, falling up air, and then like I was talking about you being able to cross up on his shield. But like, this is what you're talking about, the up tilt. You try to go for an up tilt here. You just don't have time to actually get an up tilt out in this spot. So there's what?
I think I could have shield grabbed.
Right here. Nah, you could not shield grab. Yeah. Yeah, this is a pretty common Falcon like response to getting hit on the shield. They'll do this stomp, especially on behind, because they don't want to back air and miss, essentially. On the front of your shield, they sometimes do the stomp as well too, but they usually do like a knee or neutral air. But to beat this, basically you just do the crouch. Anytime you land in this matchup, you should just be holding down essentially right after to get a crouch, instead of going for an up tilt here. So if you went for a crouch here, then you can react to the stomp coming out and power shield it on reaction, and then you can shield grab the stomp. Let's say it crosses you up or something like that, then you can wave dash out shield, turn around, grab the stomp. If you think they're going to like jump out of shield or something like that, or shield or like roll or something after going for stomp, then you can hard read that. But basically once he decides to click stomp here, he is completely screwed. Generally is how it works. But yeah, another option here is potentially going for up smash. Up smash kind of does beat stomp in some situations, but it's a hard read option. So if he doesn't go for stomp in this situation, then you would just lose because you'd be holding shield, and then he would just be able to back air out of shield because you'd be in so much lag that you can't get up crouch in time, right? So that's like the main like shield situation. You hit his shield with like a falling up air. You either cross him up which way, and then you either let's say they go for like a backer at a shield or a stomp at a shield, thinking you're going to be behind their shield and you were in front of your shield, then you can just backer Whiffpunish that. Or you could like run up grab or something like that, or like wave dash grab. But basically there's like the main like interactions you want in this matchup. Okay, yeah, you went for backer up tilt again. But yeah, again, if that was like a back air and a crouch and then just reaction shield, that'd be good. Basically, like neutral, like in this awkward stage in the matchup where your up air doesn't really knock down yet. It doesn't knock down to the 20s. So it's like you kind of just want to build damage until you can get like an up air. And Falcon's pretty good at actually avoiding like really big openers at low damage until he gets up aired. So at this point, you can do these types of back airs and it's completely fine. But at the same time, you kind of want to not really put yourself really high in the air versus Falcon. It's kind of similar to Sheik in that like putting yourself in the air means that they can like sneak under you with like a pretty annoying move like F tilt of Sheik, or in Falcon's case he could potentially like sneak under you and falling up air. In terms of like them like dash dancing over and over again, if they just keep dash dancing, you can just take space in their dash dance. So instead of landing with this back air right here, right, let's say you landed right here and then you just hit crouch and then you'd be able to rest him trying to grab you because you thought that he was going to back air you. It's also kind of like a respect thing. So if they're like dash dancing like this, they are kind of respecting that the fact that you're just going to go for this back air type of gameplay, which means that it opens you up to go for like pound, because pound, I forget if we talked about it last time, but pound basically goes like further than back air is the whole thing about pound. So when someone's dash dancing like this very tight, let's say he was over here with his like the end of his dash dance, then pound wouldn't be that good. But because he's doing such a tight dash dance, that means that he is trying to Whiffpunish exclusively back air, which means you can pound in this spot too. So that's like another like potential opener in this percent. Okay, I would have just like to do a back air falling up there. Like, it's pretty funny like how spammable it is in this matchup. I always hate like when Puffs like just kind of just throw out like aerial, falling aerial as like their whole thing in a lot of situations, because usually a lot of the other times, like in empty land, instead of doing a second aerial is really good, but in this spot it just made sense that once you hit someone with back air, you should just go for a falling up air. Okay. Yeah, like this didn't really make sense. If you just so I don't really like rolling ever in this matchup, just because rolling is like not one of the three like crouching, shielding, or grabbing type of mix-ups. And Puff is too good of a character that she doesn't really have to roll versus Falcon. So once I get hit on shield here by Stomp, I'm going to do a wave dash out of shield into turnaround grab. That's like my level 1. Sometimes they will be able to get like a Stomp into like a gentleman. Usually that doesn't happen. It's mostly on knee. But let's say they did were able to get that out, then you could potentially even spot dodge through the gentleman and rest. That's a crazy option, but for an actual like human, then you just do like a wave dash out of shield after the gentleman's after he hits your shield with gentleman, and then you just do like a backer on shield. It's completely fine. Try and cross him up again, or you could just do like a wave dash out of shield, turn around grab, and try and grab him. But realistically, they will have enough time to get out because of how safe on shield gentleman usually is. But yeah, rolling kind of prevented you from getting any type of like favorable mix-up, because he hit your shield with something that's like basically unsafe. Because let's say he hits your shield with Stomp and he does not instantly shield after, then you can just back air the shield for him stomping your shield, right? And he doesn't really want to get back aired, because the more back airs he takes, the easier it is for you to hit him with up air in terms of it knocking down. So Falcon wants to avoid percent as much as possible if he can, so that's why he throws up shield a lot in respect to your back air with punishing you. This didn't really make sense. If you want to crouch cancel into like an immediate move, I don't know if you meant to do grab here. Was this a misgrab? Do you know?
Wait, can you play back here?
Yeah. Like, was that misgrab?
That would have been a missed wave dash on the shield or something. Or that's something I think I missed. It could have been maybe an up tilt, or maybe I missed the jump button. But I definitely didn't mean to crouch cancel jab.
Yeah. It's like in my head I'm trying to think like, because maybe you meant to do like crouch cancel into like shield grab type of thing.
Yeah, I think maybe wave dash grab was what I was trying to do.
Okay.
Like, wave dash grab.
Yeah, I was just making sure. But yeah, you could definitely just crouch cancel grab this back air, and that would have been pretty fine. And that will happen in this matchup, but like usually I don't really like going for crouch cancel into immediate like grabs unless it's on Falcon's Nair. His Nair is pretty bad in terms of dealing with crouch in general, so you can potentially crouch cancel grab it a lot more than, let's say, a back air. Back air is usually safe on your crouch, especially with its space right. So I don't really like crouch cancel grabbing back airs. You can potentially crouch cancel grab weak knees. You'd have to know it's a weak knee in terms of like either you space outside of the range where it could have been a strong knee, so they hit you at the end of it. That also can happen, so that's another thing I would be crouch cancel grabbing. But yeah, I would not try and crouch cancel grab a back air pretty much ever. I would have just sat and crouched there, shielded, gotten a power shield probably, and maybe I could have got a shield grab on the back air. That would have been good. Okay, so in terms of short hop nair, it's like never really good in terms of like any matchup. Unless it's like Marth, kind of. I think it's okay against Marth in terms of like if Marth's really close to you, or like Peach. But like any like floaty characters, I think it's like it's a little bit okay. It's like it's still like not great because it doesn't really get you that much. But especially against Falcon, I don't really like it. Instead of doing like a nair here, I would have just gone for a drill. That would have been my preferred option here. So if you guys replace all your short hop nairs with drills in like every matchups, I'm sure you'll be doing a lot better. So this isn't like a good habit to have usually. Yeah.
I think what happened here is it was just kind of like awkward because like it was a low percent, and I was close to him, and I just kind of wanted to get out of that situation. So you think drill would be better in that situation?
Yeah, I mean drill comes out a frame faster than nair, and also it lasts longer, and also in terms of nair, he could have just crouch canceled you and then just grabbed you or jabbed you out of it, and then that would have not been good. In terms of just getting out of there completely, because doing like a drill here would have been completely fine. That's not trying to get out. That's just building damage. Because whenever you hit Falcon with drill, he doesn't have a shine, which is a big thing in terms of like being able to get out of drill is having a frame 1 shine. So Falcon doesn't have shine. That's like basically my first like check mark whenever I'm using drill, when it's not going to true combo into grab or something like that. Do they have a shine? And Falcon does not. And his fastest option out of getting drilled is like roll. That's literally it. Roll or shield or spot dodge. And Falcon's roll is not that good, so you could potentially just drill him and tech chase the roll. He could potentially try and get up shield, which would lose if you try and go for like a drill again, or trying to like backer him. But yeah, I like going for drill, especially to build up damage in this matchup. I think it's pretty good in general because it's pretty hard for Falcon to deal with it in most situations. You could potentially try and get like a stomp or something like that out of getting drilled, or going for like a short hop knee or something like that, or gentleman after getting drilled, and all of those options basically lose if you go for like crouch. So going for like a drill here when you're really close into a crouch would have been really fine. But yeah, once you hit like a nair, you can't really get nair up tilt or something like that versus Falcon like ever. You see how fast he is? You just instantly dash out of that nair. He's gonna do that a lot in this matchup. He'll just like instantly dash away from your moves or potential moves. So getting like a static move like up tilt against Falcon doesn't really work. The only times that will really happen is when you could successfully get like an empty land mix up on his shield like I was talking about, and he's gonna want to jump out of shield. Even then, it's kind of hard to get those situations in general, so I prefer going for upper and just like trying to get grabs in those sequences rather than going for up tilts. But of course, you can go for up tilts, but usually up air is just a better confirm against Falcon. Okay, so this short hop, that's full hop nair. This full hop nair is actually pretty good. In terms of like how I want to get basically Falcon into like the shield again in this matchup is, well, if he's not respecting my back air, then I could throw out back airs right here. Back air would be fine. But he is respecting back air pretty well so far in terms of like his dash dance spacing is always around back air. So going for this nair is pretty nice. I like this a lot. I prefer though usually to start my nair around here. You started it like you went from a full hop around here. It's more so that he has less options when he's cornered, and I want to keep him in the corner as much as possible. But if I start it from around here, then he's in center again, and he has more options again. I'll probably just, so he could potentially dash dance away from my nair and try and like go for like a knee after, and try and like put me into shield and put me in a bad spot. So I prefer whenever I'm using like a stuffing option, like I'm trying to hit like a jump here, hit a dash. I rather prefer to start it like around here in general. So I like this Nair just like a bit closer spacing with the motor. Okay, so you hit his shield, you crossed him up, really good. Again, he goes for stomp at his shield when you hit the back of his shield. When again, like I'm talking about, you want to mix up whether you land in front of his shield or behind his shield, just so these stomps don't always happen, because he could choose different option here. He could just jump at a shield and just like jump away to top platform or something. He could go for a back air, which is usually again safer than stomp in most situations, and especially based on spacing wise, he was able to go for a back air here because you went for a jump back air, which again didn't really make sense. If you're hitting the back of his shield, you should be crouching and then waiting for the stomp to come out, and then either back air shielding the stomp if you think he's going to like try and like dash away after the stomp, or if you think he's going to put himself in shield, then wait dash turn around grab at a shield. Okay. Just don't put yourself in shield here voluntarily, because then you can get grabbed. Again, if you're ever going to land in this matchup, then you're going to be landing with basically trying to hold down right after. So if you went for a crouch here, you just get a free kill with the jump rest, and that'd be sick. Especially in this matchup, like just getting a rest just is like the main like easy way to win it. Because if Falcon gets rested 4 times, like he just cannot make up that differential to win the game. So it's pretty important to get rests. Good DI in the down throw, made it very ambiguous. You could have actually DI'd kind of to, I usually like DIing onto the platform, so it makes it a tech chase, preferably, if I can. So that would have been probably the best DI here, because if the Falcon was a bit better, then he could have actually just reacted to this and hit you. But because he did the away DI last time, he was expecting that again. So that was a good mix-up, but he didn't have to this time. He actually could have DI'd onto the platform. Okay, good back air at a hitstun. What do you think you're doing here in terms of like your thought process? Do you know?
Oh, sorry, I was muted for a second. I was trying to go for a dash attack and then I missed it, and then I did something after I missed it.
Okay, that makes sense. So right here was dash attack?
Yeah, it was supposed to be, and then I missed it.
Okay. Yeah, I think yeah, I like dash attack in terms of tech chasing Falcon for sure. So that was the right move. Once you miss like a tech chase like that, you have to know that basically Puff only gets 1 try in most tech chases. So you could have potentially maybe turned around dash attacked again. That might have worked here. It was close, but putting yourself into the air and going for back air is very slow. So that's just not going to be the option, because you have to go through the frame 5 jump squat, and then you have to go through the back air, and which is just way slower than going for a dash attack. So when you think that you could potentially maybe get a second chance on a tech chase, just go for a dash attack. It's your fastest option. But because you were late here, you have to recognize that you're late and have to read an option that the Falcon or any character, this is just applies in general, is going to do after, because you were going to go for a back air, or because it's around the percent that back air knocks down. That's what Falcon's thinking right now. That's why he puts himself in the shield. So because I'm looking at the percents, I'm like, okay, I'll just grab his shield after he's done. But if this was like a Fox, for instance, and he rolls away, and I miss tech chase against Fox, Fox might be thinking, oh, I can just spot dodge shine him right now. So Fox might spot dodge here, and then I would have to read the spot dodge from Fox and F smash, rest, or wait out the spot dodge and grab him. So like, or he could also go for a buffered roll right as soon as getting up. That's another option. Or he could try and jump. So like those are like the 4 like main options you want to think about here. So whenever you're late on a tech chase, just try and cover one of those options. Usually it's dependent based on percent, and also based on opponent and based on character, which one's the best. But against Falcon right here, I would be definitely thinking about, is he going to shield or buffered roll? Those are the 2 big ones. I'm trying to think why this. Okay. Oh, you tried to dash away. I was like, you definitely had enough time to get up crouch, so I was curious what you did here. Yeah, if you just got up crouch here and went for a shield, then you would have been completely fine. I actually do like that drill out of hitstun. In this matchup, it's a little bit scary though to try and trade moves with Falcon because especially your Nair does not beat Falcon's up air is the big one. So trying to like trade your way back down to neutral just doesn't really work. But I think I talked about this last time in terms of I like not really facing forwards in terms of like trying to recover. It kind of works sometimes against Falcon, but I'd rather be facing backwards and trying to backer my way back to neutral.
I find it hard to like especially from ledge to like get the turnaround back air set up with R2 which I'm missing matches right now.
Are you saying like the turnaround backer right here, like this input?
Yeah.
Okay.
Like, yeah. I do like a bunch of fairs on accident. So I'm trying to get a turnaround. I just miss it.
Yeah, I think it's just something you have to practice. It's not like directly intuitive for sure. But in terms of Falcon recovery, most of the time you want to get Falcon to commit to something is how you get back to neutral. And usually you will not really take this risk if he's up. Sometimes they will still take the risk if they're up and they'll just like run off stage with like an up air right now and try and hit you. The main objective here is to try and like kind of do nothing for a while and just be really high in the air and hope Falcon goes for an up air and then you can just fall underneath him with an up air or just sneak around him as well too. You can land top platform in this matchup, but it's not that great, so it's more about landing on the side platform, like the edge of it, so you're not really landing in center stage without a jump. Is the big thing. You don't really want to cross him up trying to recover, so you have less jumps, which means that you have less opportunities to get out of his up airs. So basically how I'm thinking about this matchup, I'm mainly landing here, or I'm landing on the ledge, or I'm landing like right here. Those are like the 3 landing spots. So in this spot, like yeah, it doesn't really matter too much that you didn't turn around here and went for like a back air instead. Both situations would have came out the same. You're just trying to cover yourself, so it worked out. Once you grab ledge here, I would just turn winner backwards and just be really high in the air with a lot more jumps is the big thing. Once I'm really high in the air with a lot more jumps, then I have more options to like drift around and basically drift right outside the range of Falcon's moves. You kind of have to either like play as Falcon in terms of like solo practice, just like throw out up airs just like off stage and just like try and see where they would hit, you know, and throw off knees off stage and see where they would hit too. I just had too much game sense at this point that I know like exactly where like a Falcon up air will reach, so I don't really have to like do that. But I think that's probably pretty helpful in terms of like trying to recover in general, is to like see where your opponent's moves can really hit in terms of like them actually going off stage to hit you. So that's important versus Falcon. So I would turn it winner backwards, get a lot of height, get out range of like a Falcon up air, basically bait myself back into the range by drifting in, and then I just drift away, and if they don't hit me, then I either try and land on the platform or I land on the ledge, do it again. Sometimes they will just like do a situation like be like really close like this, in which case I don't want to ledge dash on because no puff is ever actually invincibly ledge dash in their life, so then you just get hit by a Falcon back air here. So once he gives up like a lot of space, then you can actually just get back on with like just like a simple turnaround back air and just lay on the ground. And then once you get back onto stage, then you have to play another mix up to get out of the corner, like, oh, I have to get him to commit again, and then I jump off stage again, hoping he runs like at me with like a nair or something like that. Or if he keeps giving up space, then I start taking more space. It's a really annoying way to get out of the corner. Falcon is probably either the best character at keeping Puff in the corner in the game, or it's like Fox. It's really hard to get out of the corner with Falcon, but basically you have to take your time with it and just keep incrementally like gaining space that it gives you is essentially how it works. But yeah, don't do the fair from ledge, just do a turnaround backer, which again takes time to actually practice. This didn't really make sense. Yeah, you could just, but you could have actually just ledge dashed on or just wave landed on stage, and that's probably would have been the best move. Just going for this Nair doesn't really make sense because again, trading your way back on a stage doesn't really work, especially when you're losing this matchup. I actually do like that back air because it stuffed him trying to grab you for that, and that was pretty reasonable, so that was good. I really like the dash check. I'm just curious why you didn't get the strong one. Okay. That was just unlucky. That was actually a really good option. That was really good.
I was trying to disrespect his dash stance because he was just kind of standing in place dash standing, so I knew if he was trying to.
Yeah, in terms of again disrespecting dash stance that isn't doing anything, you could also just go for a back air here and be very, very safe. Like just do a short hop back air, auto cancel, and that would have been pretty good here too. Just keeping him in the corner. Yeah, because he isn't gonna jump, so that's the big thing. But yeah, the dash tag is also a fine spot. If you want to do dash tag, you have to be a little bit closer though, just so it guarantees that it's like actually going to get a strong hit.
I think I could have avoided that knee if I just spaced the back air better.
Not really. You would have to usually whenever I'm trying to edgeguard Falcon, I'll just flowchart it now. You want to be facing him and using forward air or nair or drill because those moves are faster than back air. So the fastness of the move matters a lot because Falcon's knee is pretty slow to come out comparatively to like a lot of other aerials that are trying to get back on stage. Like a Fox, like a Falco down air, right? Falco's down air is pretty fast, so it's this. Like, going for a back air, he would lose completely against Falco's down air. Even going for a fair, lose against Falco's down air. There's no, like, potential trade or something like that, like Falcon's. But because of Falcon's moves being very slow, you could have potentially gone for a fair here and maybe hit him before the knee comes out. It's not about spacing in terms of this spot. But in terms of spacing that's not related to back air, you could just, like, wait outside of the range of the knee on the stage and then just like Whiffpunish it with dash attack, forward smash, grab, back air, any of those moves, fair, and just send him back off stage again. Basically, I want to put Falcon in a favorable situation for me every time I'm heading him off stage. So if he's not in a good spot, like that was okay. So when he was hit off stage here in this position, he had a lot of options here. He could have just fell down, double jump, grab ledge. That's one option. He could have kneed on the stage, or naired on the stage. Both moves are the exact same in this situation. Knee is a little bit better in terms of like if you're going for a back air here, knee is going to either trade with it or beat it. But if you went for a forward air here, usually knee would lose. If they went for a nair, nair is faster, so nair might have actually beat your forward air, but it would have been close. But if you went for a back air, you could have potentially, like you're saying, use your range of the back air to actually beat the nair. But essentially, he could have gone for fall down, double jump to ledge. He could have gone for just wait, up air, if he thinks that you're going to jump out there and trying to stop him from double jumping the ledge, and then grab ledge after you get hit by the up air. He could have double jump back up beat. He could have literally side beat on the stage maybe. He could have jumped side beat on the stage, and that would have been an option. Like, he had a lot of options when he's this close to the stage, and not in that much hit stun. Because he's in with a weak dash attack, he's not in that much hit stun, and also he's very close to the stage. That's like edgeguarding like 101. Like, if you have less time, then the other character has more options, and you have to hard read an option. So if you're gonna hard read him doing like a double jump knee here, I would have just gone for a fair or just waited on stage, either one. But let's say I had a lot more time, then I can basically deduce options a lot easier. In most situations against Falcon, you want to like jump off stage with it, like with the intention of facing forward and kind of reacting to his options, but not really. If you have a lot of time, then you can react to like double jump back up B. But if you don't have a lot of time for that, then you have to position yourself like in the scenario that he could go for the double jump back up B, he could go for drop and then like up B or double jump to ledge in those scenarios. And then all of those are basically beaten by hard reading them with forward air. If you expect him to go really far down, then you just jump off stage with a forward air preemptively. If you think he's going to do this up, you double jump back up B, then you can just like jump off stage with him and then try and forward air him. And then again, if you ever get in like a bad spot where you don't really know how to like effectively edgeguard him, just get hit by his up B and then just reset it. Is a big thing of Falcon. Or another reset option is down airing the ledge. If you don't think you're gonna be able to like effectively edgeguard him, you can down air the ledge if he's below you, and then you can run off stage with like a forward air or something like that after. But yeah, that was like a lot about in terms of recovery edgeguarding. It's like pretty simple as well. Like We might watch some Hungry Box to get to it because this game is pretty like fast in terms of like the amount of things that are happening. But Hungry Box Edgeguard is basically exactly what I'm saying. It's very simple. Okay. Again, short hop Nair to go for a short hop drill. This S smash doesn't really make sense percent wise because you hit this S smash. I actually don't know if it knocks down Falcon to 12%. It probably does, I guess. But once you hit this grab here, you could actually just crouch cancel grab is the main thing. That would work. Maybe you couldn't get a crouch cancel grab based on spacing. If you couldn't get a crouch cancel grab, at least when you Whiffpunish, you whiff a grab, then you have the option I think we talked about is just holding down. And because holding down is broken in this matchup for buff, you hold down here and then you just reaction shield the Stomp and you just get a hit out of messing up completely, which is sick. Oh my god, it's actually so exciting when that happens. But this is actually really a grab on the Stomp. Up the rest does not work. I don't know if you know that, but does not work against this character at all. But instead, yeah, he could easily jump out. In terms of the up throw flowchart, it's like up throw up air. It's like your main thing against Falcon.
Up throw up air rest? Yeah,
up throw up air rest. Sometimes it's very ambiguous whether he can jump out or not because up air doesn't send into that much tumble like around this percent. So whenever you think it's close, whether he'll be able to jump out of the up throw up air, like let's say you go for the up throw, you go for the up air, and you think that maybe he could jump out of your rest, then you go for a hard read option. So instead of going for a rest right off the bat, you could read him jumping out and go for another up air and then rest that because there's no way he can jump out after you caught his double jump, right? So you could do that. You could also hard read him falling out of your up air and just falling up air or like landing with him and grabbing him or up tilting him or something like that. Those are the two main mix-ups Falcon has after like getting hit by up air. Is he falls down or he double jumps out. Those are the two things. But yeah, you cannot get up the wrist against Falcon, unfortunately. It would be a crazy matchup if you really could. It would be horrible for Falcon. I don't know. I guess he was trying to like fall out of a potential up air, but that's not really how the...
Maybe he tried to force the tech chase on the platform?
Nah, he didn't DI for it, so it didn't really make sense what he was doing there. Realistically, any Falcon should just jump out there. But, I don't know. It's really weird. Okay. Good. Okay.
Ready for that.
Yeah.
So,
I
too low for percent to get anything.
Yeah, I really liked you like just going for this back air and then seeing that he went to the platform, you went for a back air to just prevent him from taking center stage on you. So this is really good neutral. And then going for the flying up air was really good. I think you could have timed this better, so it would have hit his shield and put him at least in some shield stun. Would have been nice. So it's not like basically when you don't hit him on his shield, then you're not putting him in any stun. Whereas it would be nice to put him in at least some stun here, so it's not like a horrible spot. Your up tilt actually did beat Stomp, so it's almost fake newsing me that up tilt does not beat Stomp. But this is like a 1 in 20 up tilt that actually beats a Stomp here. If you up smash here, this would have been better if you're hard reading Stomp, anyways.
Did you get forced to tech chase?
What?
Up smash.
Nah. It wouldn't have, but it still does like the same thing as up tilt does in terms of like doesn't knock down. But you could have also again just crouched and then sat and crouched, waited for the Stomp, and then power shield the Stomp, and then depending on whether he like hits the back of your shield or the front of your shield, you can back guard a shield if you think he's not gonna shield, or you can grab him, wait dash turnaround grab. Either of those two options, and that would have at least put you in a good spot because you go for an up throw after. And you could tech chase onto the platform, rest him, up throw up air if he doesn't go onto the platform, and potentially rest him that way. So yeah, you would potentially a kill setup right here, but you went for like up tilt instead, which doesn't actually like lead to anything. Also, in these types of awkward situations, you're not really sure what to do, like these types of like short hop nairs. You could also go for a full hop auto cancel down air, which is different than pretty much any other matchup. They're pretty good in the sense that whenever you go for a full hop auto cancel down air, so once you land on the ground, then you can do anything you want because of the auto cancel. They're very good in terms of like they can hit dash and they can kind of hit jump, so they would hit both these options right here. And because of like how the auto cancel works, you can go for whatever you want after, and you can go for up tilt against players that have no idea how to beat auto cancel downer. So that's a good option. So if you do full up auto cancel downer, you go for up tilt right after. That's the third way, hidden way, I guess, to get up tilt against tall characters. It's mainly good against tall characters because it's gonna hit their entire body with the drill. Is the big thing. So against Falcon, Marth, are the two main ones. It's gonna hit their entire body, so it's gonna be easy to put them in a lot of stun, so they have less options. Is the big thing. If you try and do like a full hop auto cancel downer versus Fox, for instance, then you don't put them a lot of stun, so then they will be able to shine you out of it. But for Falcon and Marth's sake, they have to pick an option like they have to dash out of the way of your up tilt in order to beat that. But let's say you hard read them dashing out of your up tilt, then you can like chase them with a back air or a forward air. So basically, like full hop auto cancel downer is like pretty good when you're this ambiguous range where you're not sure what to do, and you go for an air. But you could have gone for a full hop auto cancel downer. That would have been pretty good here. Again, you could have gone for a short hop drill, but because of the fact that he could jump out of it, I don't really like going for short hop drill in this spot. If he was closer to me, I would go for short hop drill over auto cancel drill. So. In terms of whiff punishing, just don't go for like a move that takes a long time to go for. So like F smash, you just can't whiff punish like basically with F smash like ever. Is kind of how it works. So I would just go for it because I think that I'm going to be late in terms of getting a back air or a dash tag or something like that here. I would again hard read that he's going to shield because he's shielded every time, right? But once he starts jumping here, then I could start throwing out up airs. But you haven't really progressed the mix-up at all, so he's not thinking about even jumping as an option, right? So he's going to be shielding. This gameplay isn't inherently bad, but it's better with turnaround back here. Okay.
If I was more comfortable, I would have gone for the rest of it.
Yeah, I like the second upper, honestly, is what I would have done. And then once he DIs like this, you have to recognize you cannot get another up air. It's ambiguous whether you can get out like a dash attack or a forward right here. In my experience, usually when you hit that second up air, they are going to land on the ground before you can get out another move. And because they've landed on the ground before you get out another move, you do not want to throw out a third move. It's kind of a recognition thing, and it's going to take time to notice like, oh, I've just hit him with this up air or this type of like aerial, and he's going to land on the ground before I can get out another aerial. Usually with Puff, unless they're really high in the air, you just cannot get like a landing aerial before they can tech in a lot of situations. But it's just a recognition thing. But once you recognize that, completely fine back air to cover the roll. You could have also gone for a dash attack again. I'm saying both are completely fine when you have a lot of time. When you have a lot of time, you can choose either option. But if you had less time, then you could only do dash attack like at the beginning. Okay. You like didn't like commit with this back air at all. It's really weird. Yeah, you just like misspaced it completely. I don't know like what really happened there, but you kind of have to trust yourself a lot of the time when you play Puff that your hit was actually going to lead them into another hit. It's pretty annoying sometimes, but you have to trust that, oh, okay, what I did was really good here. I should just continue to apply the pressure, but you like completely like just don't go full in for that third back air. So that was really weird. I would definitely just like space that lot more closer and just trust like, oh, I can get this tech chase and do a kill. Because if I don't get that tech chase and just let him out of the corner, I have to play another neutral situation again. Whereas if I actually like fully committed with that, then I would have been pretty fun. Okay. When Falcon is this high above me, I'd rather go for the up air like you did literally 2 seconds ago, which would have been better. You could wait for him to land on the ground and then S-smash him, actually, because this would be the only time S-smash would work, because you could catch him out of the air and then forward smash him. If you hard read something like this with like an S-smash, or this could have been a stomp too, like sometimes you can actually wave dash out a shield and F-smash a stomp sometimes. Especially if they aren't going to shield on frame 1 and they're going to think about, oh, I'm going to dash away instead of going for shield. So that like sometimes is pretty good too. But in this spot, I would have just gone for an S-smash or go for an up air, either one. S-smash to read dash out of the corner is okay. Again, I'd rather just do it for dash attack. It's just less committal and also just usually better. because both of the dash attack and S smash didn't really like kill him, right? He was able to recover. But if you went for dash attack, at least it would have done the same exact thing, and you would have had less downtime if you missed. Okay, these back airs are really good. This is all good, but yeah, this is where you start to turn around. Literally at this point, is what I was saying about turnaround. I hit this back air. It's okay that you just drifted back here and didn't really like full commit with it. I'm not like too egregious about this. You're just doing safe back airs to try and poke him in the corner. Don't do this wave dash. Literally just full hop, turn around, and then start going for like a fair setup. Yeah, it would have been perfect here, but you just like don't do anything. You like try and go like ledge, but like even like trying to hard read cover ledge doesn't really make sense in this matchup, because you could just still forward air the ledge is like really important too. So forward air is just completely broken against the Edgeguard Falcon. Weak fair is just insanely good. Okay. You would definitely gonna combo this into a second backer too. This is really
yeah. After watching it,
yeah, it's like, I mean, this is a recognition thing as well too, but in terms of like, even if you whiff the second back here, right, it's not like anything really happens poorly here for you. You just literally just drift here and just like land on the platform if you can. If you can't land on the platform, then you just like lay on the ground and just set up the edge guard again. You just full hop off stage and just try and go for a fair again. Or if he tries to like just directly go down to ledge, then maybe you could like, I don't know, like just drill ledge, down tilt. You could maybe even set up like a dash attack ledge. All those options would be fine. But yeah, this doesn't really make sense. And when it's close like this, just like click the move and just like, if it whiffs, like, is it like, you gotta think like, is it gonna be like horrible for me if this move whiffs? And usually the answer is no when you're edge guarding Falcon. It's like maybe like the worst thing that happens is he maybe recovers off it, but like maybe recovering versus like maybe my back air kills him directly is a lot better, right? Okay, this was insanely greedy in terms of like landing on stage here. I assume you tried to air dodge through him or something, which would have been fine, kind of, not really. In this spot, I think I had a lot of jumps here, right? Let's see. No, I actually didn't have a lot of jumps. Okay, so when you don't have a lot of jumps like this, it's kind of fine to do this. It's like okay. If you did an air dodge like correctly at this point, it would have been fine, but you did the air dodge super late, so we could have just hit you here instead of just like doing nothing. But he had really bad reaction time, so I don't know what really happened there. But usually when I'm low on jumps, I want to go ledge a lot. Until the Falcon hard reads the ledge once, then I stop going ledge, basically entirely. Once he does that, then I'm going to land on the platform, like the edge of the platform. Either try and do an edge cancel, wave line off, or I'm going to do this this is last resort for me. I'm not doing this option like as my main option. I will do a last resort air dodge in this type of spot and try and land on stage. Okay. Roll away there is completely fine. It's like, this is like maybe the only spot I'd ever roll against Falcon, but realistically I can just hold shield, and once he misses gentleman like this, I just get a free grab, or even maybe rest at a shield. But let's say he didn't miss gentleman, I could potentially just wave dash out a shield after the gentleman's done afterwards anyways, and like he might just like hard read your roll too, right? He could do knee on shield and then just turn around, hard read your roll with another knee. That's a pretty common setup with Falcon. So I would have probably just held shield and just waited for the gentleman to be over and wave dash out shield. Is probably my best option. You can also wave dash shield ledge too. It's pretty crazy too. If you don't want to even like try and play something too like greedy or aggressive, that would work too. This is a weird move choice in terms of like short Hop Nair again. This would not be a spot I would ever drill though. I was saying replace all of them with drill, but this is not one of those, because if you go for drill here, you can just DI to ledge and then just be fine. But in the spot, if you went for dash attack, this would have been the fine replacement.
I don't know why I nailed her. And then after it, I thought he would be like, I thought I could hit him with a back air after I hit him, but he didn't go in the right spot because I hit him with a nair.
Yeah. If this was a dash attack, then maybe this like jump off and then trying to go for instant back air on a hard read would have been fine. But again, this is low time in terms of edge guard, so in this spot, it's almost insanely impossible to edge guard him here correctly, like even with a hard read, because of how little space that you gave him. If you went for an auto cancel short Hop Nair, maybe you would be able to. It's like, yeah, also anytime you short Hop Nair, it should never really be an auto cancel one. I think I talked about that last time. But let's say it wasn't auto cancel Nair, then you'd have to like hard read this Nair on the stage with like a crouch shield and like back air to shield, fair out of shield, or like dash tag or something like that. That'd be the only situation you could even hard read that. Again, trading to try and get back is not good versus Falcon. Going for Nair like this. Now that I've gotten hit by this though, let's say I was just jumping here and just doing back airs to get back, and I get hit by the up air. Again, this is why the importance of height is really good in terms of recovering, because the more height I have, and also because using Nair loses your height a lot faster than using back air or just jumping in general. The less height I have, the less options I have to land, so that means that you can go for the ledge snipe a lot easier, right? So I would just not be in this really position in general, but because I am, and because I got hit, I am going to not use the ledge as much as to get back anymore. Okay, hit him a fair. Like this Edgeguard didn't really make sense. As soon as I hit him, I'm just going to jump off stage with another forward air. Jump right here instead of doing the wave dash. This wave dash setup kind of works against characters like, I guess, Sheik or something, or like Marth, where you kind of want to stay on stage, grab ledge, and then like just rest them. You don't really want to do that versus Falcon if you don't have to. Like, if you don't have to rest them to kill them, just don't rest them to kill them, right? Resting them, like grabbing ledge and then resting, is nice when like it's ambiguous whether you can actually catch their drift or not, and it forces them to die. Whereas maybe they could like drift around your forward air, because forward air is not as precise as a move as back air is the only reason you use back air when edge guarding Falcon, is basically when you have a hard read and you know that if you go for forward air, there's a chance it could miss, in terms of like forward air being a worse move in terms of like disjoint. But yeah, this situation, I would just jump on stage with forward air and just hit him, not have him give him a chance to recover. Like, if I was going to go for that back air there, I would have just rather just literally just waited for him to land on stage, just rest. Because if I go for that back air and he actually drifts the ledge instead of going on stage, he could potentially grab ledge from me, and they would be horrible.
I should go for the reverse fair hitbox.
You could do that in this spot, but again, like, you shouldn't be in this spot in general anyways. But if that's the situation, I'm not gonna go for an on-stage rest. Yeah, reverse fair is pretty good here. Yeah, it's probably the only other option besides going for like a rest on stage. Okay. In terms of the turnaround back air stuff, so you actually did it well here, so this is good. The second one was good, but like I was saying, in terms of this matchup, you don't really want to do this stuff. Like, once you do the first one and he gives you this much space, just land on the ground. Literally land on the ground and crouch. The turnaround back air is to basically get him away from the ledge if you can. If he doesn't respect the turnaround back air and just does a really tighter dash dance, like right here or something like that, and basically hits you like he does here, then you can't just keep back airing to try and like give up space. But once you do the first one, he dashes that far away, then you can land on the ground and crouch, and he basically just gives you a free stage. That would have been cool. But he goes to this back tip in there, and if you were crouching, you could have shielded the Nair and then just hit him out of shield. That would have been good. But as a general type of like way to come back, I would rather just turn a winner and then just be really high and get him to commit on me. And if he doesn't commit on me, I can just grab ledge, land on the platform, or land on stage. Obviously, not using too much jumps to try and get him to commit at me, because if I use too much jumps, then I put myself in a bad spot, just trying to get him to hit me. It depends on the player. Some players really will not take the bait off stage, but a lot will. So it's kind of risk reward wise, it will work out. I do not like that pound like at all. Pound is insanely scary to do in general versus Falcon, unless you're, again, like I was talking about earlier, he's using a very tight dash dance to beat your back air, so that's why you use a pound, because it goes further than your back air and he'll get hit. But if he's using a longer dash dance, then it wouldn't work. Especially when recovering, pound is insanely scary because it lets him get his very slow move out, which is knee or stomp or something like that. So letting him have an opportunity to set up his very slow moves is not good, but he does not take the opportunity well. So if you went for like an up air there instead of trying to go for a pound, like with punish, but him jumping off stage, that would have just been better. Okay. Messes up there. This neutral is completely fine. Again, don't put yourself in shield unless you have to. And in this spot, I would have just sat and crouch. That would have been completely fine. And then once I see him jumping, I can shield. And then once he hits my shield right here, I just fair out of shield. Or I just do a... He actually does do a jump out of shield. Does do a jump instead of shielding. So he doesn't want to put himself in shield right now because he's scared of like getting grabbed, getting tech chased on the platform, and getting arrested. Because that's the only way he can lose the game right now, right? So that's what Falcon's thinking. That's why he doesn't go for an instant shield that time. But yeah, if you're in shield and trying to punish that stomp, that would have been a lot better. You put yourself in shield again, which is actually crazy. Let's see why. He's on top of you. Okay, so in this spot, I would rather just get away. I don't really want someone to be like completely on top of my character if I can avoid it. So to get away here, I would just roll away. That would be the only other time I'd roll away. So the two situations, one of them was kind of okay to roll away. This one is almost kind of mandatory, kind of not. Rolling away here is like only beat by like insanely hard read, like run off the platform, just completely just hard read roll with the grab. That's just like so unlikely that if I can avoid a situation where a character is completely on top of me like this and they haven't thrown a move and they have too many mix-ups where they could stay on the platform, they could shield drop, they could do 1,000 different things here, I would just roll away and just avoid the situation entirely. But yeah, you went for a grab again. Why'd you ever grab? You thought you did a move on your shield. You just weren't reacting there, I guess. Whenever he does that down to me and misses again, you just go for an upper out of that. That'd have been good. Okay. You don't want to sit in a spot, like in a range. So like doing this like type of like, again, if this was crouch, this gameplay would have been fine, but you did like the dash again. But let's say you're just crouching right here. I still don't like crouching in this spot because of the fact that it's directly in the path of knee from top platform. Because they love doing these types of knees from top platform. It's just a Falcon habit. So if I can avoid it, I don't want to be sitting right here when they're on the top platform. Or like, let's say I'm over here. I don't want to be sitting right here when they're on the top platform. So I'd rather be here, right here, or like in this range whenever they're on the top platform. But if they're on the ground, I like being here because it's being close enough to the point where if they dash away and doing a log dash chance, I can take space on them, right? So this is just definitely a spacing thing that was not like perfect to be in. You could have got double knee on you, just didn't go for it. You could have just gone for a sing turnaround grab ledge here. Would have been the best way to like just avoid the situation entirely. That back air on the stage is completely fine. I'm not like completely faulting you on it. Again, going for crouch here would have been good, and then shielding the back air coming out. You went for roll, and you should have died. That's crazy. Again, if you up aired out of that instead of going for a back air, you would have. I think I would have killed him actually. You go for up air right there, then he has to jump. He goes for a jump out of the up air, and then you just hard read him and go for another up air, and then you just rest the mistech on the top platform. GG, like game over. But yeah, for back air again. Okay, this falling up air is good. You go for a grab, which is good. You go for an up air, which is good. He goes on the top platform. He misses the tech. Actually, when you miss the tech like this, I'm pretty sure you can get another hit, but you just wait too long to go for an up air. You go for another double jump to get like more height. But realistically, if you can take the up air here, just take the up air and not try and get like super inside his hitbox, because let's say you even hit this up air right here, you just had no options. You ran out of jumps, so you couldn't do anything. But let's say you went for up air right here, you went for up air right there instead of going for this double jump. Yeah, it's probably just like a reaction type of situation. If he reacted to the top platform and missing tech, then he could get that up air. So I would definitely practice doing up throw combos against Falcon, up throw up air stuff. Also, if like reading like them jumping out of the up throw up air and then just hard reading them with up air, or like reading them going down with up air and trying to like read their option on the ground. Or again, in this situation, just trying to tech chase is really important because if you react to him laying on the top platform, then you can space this properly. Essentially, a big thing when you're like in this spot and against any character is you go for the first like move like that's guaranteed very early. And if you don't hit it, if it's fine, you just like just drift to the side platform or drift down, and that's just okay. You just missed your opportunity. If you do hit it though, you can just you hit the move, you just wave land off the back of the side platforms, and then just go for another up air and just continue your juggle. And it's just a really good way to regain height. Okay. I prefer the speed turnaround back air again, but it doesn't really matter too much in the grand scheme of things. But again, you go for shield instead of going for crouch here, which is essentially why you die. It was crazy. This is an insanely hard read by him, because you went for shield like every time when you've landed on the ground. But let's say you went for crouch here. He doesn't have a lot of things to kill you. He literally has knee, and that's it. Knee is the only thing that's going to scare you if you're in crouch. So you just shield the knee, and then you just hit the knee out of shield. If you power shield, you can maybe get a shield grab, then you get a tech chase on the platform to arrest. You could also do wave dash out of shield after he uses the knee, if you think he's going to dash away. If you don't think he's going to dash away and hard read like a roll or something, then he'll do a gentleman, which you do wave dash out of shield after the gentleman's done. Potentially spot dodge through the gentleman and rest if you're crazy. And then just put him back in shield or in a bad spot, and then you could potentially get a rest on him eventually. It's like, these type of situations are just a lot better than like putting yourself in shield voluntarily. That's like the only bad points to this matchup, is when you roll voluntarily and put yourself in shield voluntarily, are the only bad spots, because then you can get grabbed. And you don't want to ever really get grabbed like happened this game, because I think like almost all your stocks were just like dead because you went for shield and got grabbed. But yeah, let me see if I have anything else. Thought we would have time for Hungry Box, but actually we didn't. I don't think we do. But yeah, I think that's it for what I had. Do you have any questions?
No, not really.
Okay, cool. All right, hope that was good. And
Yeah,
I'll try and upload it this weekend. I have more time now, so that's very cool. But yeah, I'll see you.
Yeah.
Peace.